Okay, hello everybody. This is Joseph Farrell with news and views from the Nefarium on Friday, November 2nd, 2012. This is actually take 3, folks, because I've had some technical difficulties with my microphone. Hopefully, this third take will record the audio, but I appreciate everybody bearing with me. I had a bit of an emergency to help out a friend last couple of days. When I arrived back yesterday, which is when I normally record these on Thursday, I was just really too tired to do anything. So I appreciate your bearing with me. And just a reminder, we've got members video chat next Friday. And I want to thank everybody for donations, particularly that dear lady, you know who you are, and gentleman up in Illinois. And also to thank everybody for chipping in and helping out Georgianne. She's all alone out in the country to help get her eyes fixed. So we're going to get that taken care of for her. I wanted to talk today about a little continuing story in the German gold audit saga, and also relate it to something I blogged about yesterday, which is the debt Jubilee. And I have an article here from Before It's News, and this was actually posted yesterday by Adam English on the WealthWire news service, and it's a very short article, and the title of the article says it all. Germany to the Fed. We demand to see our gold. Fed refuses to even let them see it. And I want to read the very first paragraph in this because it's classic. As previously reported in WealthWire, the German Federal Auditor's Office has publicly criticized Bundesbank, its central bank, saying that they should be more proactive when it comes to taking control and responsibility for the country's gold reserves stored in the United States, Britain, and France, unquote. Now, that says it all right there, folks. Because as I've been arguing in the series of blogs this week on the website, and now hearing it from somebody else, this is really Germany sending a clear message that it does not trust the central banks of England, the United States, and France. That is to say, the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, and the Bank of France. All right. So in other words, Germany is also sending a clear signal that the health of the Western financial system is not too good. Now, I've been also blogging and talking about the idea that with the BRICS nations, with Asia, with China, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, India, I would expect soon Russia, to enter into more and more regional ties and settling clearing their exchange regionally, that you're going to see competition to the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transfer. That's called SWIFT. It's based in Brussels, and it's largely the international clearing mechanism for international banking. I think you're going to see more and more regional cooperation in clearing. In other words, I think you're going to see competition to the Anglo-American elite's system of clearing, and it's going to be of a regional basis. Now that has something very significant I want to say about debt jubilee in a moment, but I want to return to this article for the moment, because one of the things that the article states is that German auditors in May of 2011 went to the Federal Reserve for another audit. They were allowed to see some of their gold, and note that, allowed. And yet the spot check was very, very minuscule. It was very, very, let's just say, if you or I were to do that sort of an audit, it wouldn't pass muster. So in other words, the calls now in Germany for an audit of the gold, I think, have to be interpreted in the context to mean that they want to see all their gold. They want to know it's all there. Now, as you know, this wouldn't be the first time the Federal Reserve has been a little less than trustworthy with Germany's gold. Let's go all the way back to 1928. and to the memoirs of Hjalmar Horace Greeley Schacht, at that time president of the German Reichsbank, who came to this country in 1928, saw his friend, the governor of the New York Federal Reserve, who took him down into, and I've talked about this in blogs on the website, took him down into the vaults of the New York Federal Reserve and boasted that he was now going to show Herr Schacht the Reichsbank's gold. And his staff, the New York Federal Reserve staff, could not find the gold at all. And this was all just sort of laughed off, all right? So I think what you see here is further evidence that something is up with gold and the Federal Reserve, and there's an increasing and will be a spreading lack of trust in the Western central banks. And that trust, as I am trying to emphasize here, is going to come in the form of more and more regional associations and more regional clearing. Now, I made another prediction a few weeks back that the geopolitical consequences of what we see happening in Europe would lead to a possibility that you would see closer ties being developed between Greece and Asia. In other words, between Greece and Russia and China. Now, I think I've had some indications that this may already be underway. I'll try and keep you updated about that, but I've had some indications that that might already be underway. And if Greece goes, you can bet that the much larger Spanish and Italian economies are going to try and work out similar deals. And Germany is signaling with this move that it too may end up forging closer ties with Asia. If Germany stays in the EU, that puts Germany in an interesting position to be the kind of mediator or go-between between the Western bankers and the Asian ones. But I don't know that that's going to actually work out. And I doubt very much that Germany would try and play that game. So the other thing I want to talk about now is debt jubilee, because with all this going on, now, as I pointed out in yesterday's blog, there is very quietly the major media outlets that are controlled by the Anglo-American financial elite, as the Daily Bell is reporting, are now floating the balloon of debt jubilee. Now, philosophically, we need to have the discussion of would that be a good thing or not. But now let's play a scenario out. Let's imagine that we are, perish the thought, dirty, underhanded, scheming, rotten, power-mad central bankers that have participated in a decades-long financial fraud, all right? Not to say, mind you, that it couldn't happen, okay? I think we're seeing evidence of that. And let's assume that they have created this vast leveraged bubble, this derivatives bubble of securities, rehypothecations, and so on and so forth, that have vastly exceeded the actual productive output, the gross domestic product of the world. And they have, all right? Let's imagine that they've created this solely for the purpose of crashing the entire system to the point that it's either we pay back the debt that they themselves have helped to create with these very, very shady securities deals, or they come and offer a debt jubilee. We're going to wipe out all your debt. You owe us nothing. But here's the catch. Just plug into the system. All right. Now, in doing that, I submit what they would be doing is creating a fulfillment of their own versions, their own interpretations, their own self-created prophecies. All right. So I think, just to speculate a bit, these people are now floating that trial balloon to start preparing the long-term means. Now, I do not expect, for various reasons, largely philosophical and cultural, that you're going to see the Asian powers, the so-called BRICS nations, playing along with that scenario. I think pretty much everybody now sees through this ridiculous playbook of the central bankers. And you know, when you have some very large names making some very rotten deals and getting taken, This should tell everybody that these people are not the omniscient masters of the universe that a lot of us think them to be, nor that they want us to think them to be. So watch for debt jubilee. It's a philosophical discussion that does need to happen. I don't expect the BRICS nations are going to play along with it the way that the Western bankers are going to set up. So watch for these things. Future indications of Greece, Spain, Italy cementing closer ties with the Asian nations, and for the purpose of a break from the EU. All right. Watch for the rise of regional clearing. Watch for the Asian nations now to just completely jettison and dump any connection with SWIFT, with CHIPS, with the IMF, with the World Bank. Watch them to start severing all ties with those nations. Now, this puts the world in a very, very difficult geopolitical situation, because the last time in history we saw this sorts of thing happen was a long, long time ago, when people banded together to break the financial power of the day. All right, so we need to watch all of this very, very carefully, because what's propping up the West's economic power, its dollar reserve status right now, is really nothing more right now than a war machine. So this is a very, very delicate situation. I think personally that the initiative lies with the Asian nations. So we hope that they are going to be very, very delicate in their diplomacy, and I suspect that they will be. They've been at this game for a very long time, and incidentally, much longer than the Western bankers have been in it. So this is the we're building up to the third and final act, folks, so stay tuned. All right, that's it from News and Views from the Nefarium, Friday, November 2nd, 2012, the year of the apocalypse. I'm Joseph P. Farrell. We'll see you on the flip side, and God bless everybody.